Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 9 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, January 8th. So the title of my video is FOMC meeting minutes at 2:09. I've been talking about this all week, basically. Uh, this is not scheduled on the FOMC website, and there are a fair amount of times that they don't list the meeting minutes on their website. Uh, so no surprise there. However, the last FOMC meeting announcement was on a Thursday, right? After the election, so they weren't due out until tomorrow. And on the website, it says stuff that's due tomorrow will be released Friday. So take it with a grain of salt. You should be prepared that FOMC meeting minutes may come out today at 2, but there's a chance that they will not. But you should be expecting that they will, and then if they don't, they don't. Is my story that I'm trying to get to here. Uh, so take that with a grain of salt. And then we already have natural gas, which most traders don't care about that we trade with in this room. That was moved up to today as well on forex factory. So we'll see about that. Other news that we're going to have today uh, is, nothing really. Consumer credit at 3. Other than that, we do have the National Day of Mourning tomorrow. As a reminder, the stock market is closed tomorrow. Futures close when the stock market opening bell should ring tomorrow, right? So at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, that's when futures close. So if you trade the overnight session tonight, be aware that they're going to close at 9:30 a.m. Central or at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 Central. So, looking at really yesterday, we just had a great liquidation break coming down. We'll get into more of that in a minute. And then, just really not even a flag. We had the diver down pattern basically in the NASDAQ and the ES. If we look at what that did to structure, we got some, pretty poor structure. Some huge single prints right above value area high for the Russell, the Nasdaq, the ES, and then no poor structure except, just of note, there's a split right around just above 42,810. Uh, that you got that pullback low, afternoon high swinging right there. And if you look at the lower signal prints, they were pretty much taken back before a futures session ended last night. So these lower blocks, while on the charts they're not as meaningful because they've been traded through quite a few times now. You can just use them as reference. But this uh, 58.69 quarter uh, previous split on the ES is still looks like it should be pretty noteworthy. Uh, what I'm watching now on the untested points of control is basically from 59.1775 to 59.5475, and we're trading 59.5450 right now. So we're right around the point of control from yesterday's session. So we're just hanging out right there. Uh, at this point in time, a lot can change in the next 35 minutes. Uh, but those are the levels I'll be watching. And if you look, we're basically on the continuous contract. We're riding back to these highs that were from October 14th um, through October 21st. That's really been where the support has been. That's a normal pullback bid. Um, and if you look at the candles, and we'll look at them here in a minute, you can see since we rolled over, right, the first 2 days, still high and tight volatility. But once that FOMC announcement came out, right, volatility has greatly expanded, uh, and it has stayed that way. So what I'm looking at now, and this has held, we have had this pattern on every single major pullback uh, that you have, tighter. less volatility going into a high. Then you have range expansion and sloppy, massive volatility on the other side as you come down. So I'm not saying that this is an all high that's going to last, you know, any period of time, or this is we're going to end up with a, a 10% to a 20% pullback from here. But I'm just telling you that the pattern that will hold is this top downtrend line is pretty, we have 3 points on it on each of these lines now, on each of these indexes, the NASDAQ and the ES. So as this downtrend, the top line is going to hold until we see a 12% or over a 20% pullback if we're going to get a major pullback. This pattern always holds. So we start breaking back over that. It's just, normal run of the mill, everyday, uh, pullbacks, which is all we've had so far, right? We've come back into known support. It's been a little sloppier than we're used to, a little bit more range volatility with the negative gamma. Uh, but keep in mind, and you can note the bottom. I drew the bottom channel in. The bottom channel is not significant in this pattern because what can happen is you can blow through this bottom of this channel. I mean, we could end up, if this is a major top, we could end up, if the bottom of the channel is at 20,800, we could end up at 19,600, right? But it's when we retrace up at later, right, which would be a vicious retrace if we, fell down a lot, right? When you hit that upper channel, you're just dropping again, right? It can hold for a sustained period of time until you get that bigger liquidation break. So I'm just pointing out that pattern is in place. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but it's the top one that you pay attention to. You can, marginally watch the bottom of it if you see it, reacting. That's definitely a place that as you get down to, you want to stop pressing your shorts until you see if it's going to break the bottom of that channel or not. And I'll leave that pattern there. So 48.5 points is the overnight range. And if you look at it, I've got this zoomed into basically since rollover the FOMC. We've been basically floundering around within this spike down, right, from the FOMC. The low of that spike was basically 5,900, right? We've tested under it a few times, but to no avail for the bears, right? Because you're kind of overextended to the downside at that point in time. Uh, the top side we really haven't tested yet, right? We've never even got over this last set of single prints that is right around 6,100. So we can just continue to consolidate in that spike and until we leave this spike, right, which we haven't been able to get out of. Uh, there's really nothing going on other than we're trading this spike. And we've been in it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This will be our 13th day in the spike. Obviously, obviously we're closer to the bottom end than the top end. So risk reward would be, to play it back up from here. Uh, and we can leave it at there. So you can see that there is a split. I might start doing some basic support resistance again on some of my charting, but basically right around 6,000, 59.96 would be where that level is. Uh, that is where you start getting a split on this distribution from this multiple week pattern now. So looking at the overnight session, we have tested below the previous day's low on everything except for the Dow, which the Dow has been structurally a little bit different than the rest of the indexes, right? It has not had as much of a pattern, but uh, you know we might get a whitewash here, but 42,817 is the split from yesterday on there. Then we've got that previous split for the ES at 59.69 quarter. Uh, we can watch that as well. And there are those signal prints that we talked about, right? That bottom set. So we'll see if we get traction above that signal print. So think of what is below this single print is one distribution. Above this to the next single print and right around value area high is another distribution. And then, this is such a large block, you could get a distribution in these blocks. And then, above this block would be really where you would want to see the VIX continue just dropping like a stone. And keep in mind, since the market is closed tomorrow, if there's no news pending, uh, volatility could be sold today. So the VIX could see some selling pressure today. And we have non-farm payroll on Friday. So, um, you might want to pay a little bit more attention to the VXN for the NASDAQ and the VIX for the ES today than you normally would in your day trading. I hope this helps. We'll see what Jack's looking at, and I will talk to you guys on Friday.